In every country, city or state, there are laws set up to protect the rights of citizens and residents. But how useful can these laws be to the citizens if they aren't aware of them, struggle to make sense of them, or view them as boring and abstract? To create a better understanding of the law and to encourage every citizen to handle civil justice problems professionally, a legal IT research tools provider has developed Law Rights. It's a mobile application dedicated to educate and enlighten citizens about their rights as provided by the Constitution and other relevant laws in Nigeria. They founded a need to let citizens know about their rights and help them affirm it.
We found that to a very large extent, especially in Nigeria, that people tend to visit or liaise with their neighbors, families and friends when they have legal issues. For instance, if you perceive that a right has been breached, people tend to the first point of call will be their neighbors or their family members to tell them, look at what happened to me today and all of that. And then those ones will go ahead and give them legal advice as to, this is what you should do this, you should do that. But it turns out that a lot of the time, those advice will be ill-sought or ill-given, so that at the end of the day, the intended output is not what actually comes out of it. Probably because those that were even giving the advice are not in the proper place to give the advice in the first instance. So there came the need to let people know what their rights are. There's the need to let people know that, okay, this is your right. And then we realize that there are a lot of people that pass on what is their right. People don't actually know how to affirm their rights in this country. We let a lot of things slide by. But if you know your right, then you can be able to assert that this is my right, I'm entitled to this.
Law Rights seeks to reduce the ambiguity of the law by breaking it down using a question and answer format. In simple terms, it puts in the hands of its users important information on their fundamental human rights, dealing with law enforcement agencies, among other things.
What we did in Law Rights is to make sure that the ambiguity in the law, because some people, even the learned ones, the educated ones, so to speak, when they pick up the law and they read it, they often have the problem of properly interpreting what the law has said because of all these thou shalt and all of that, the legalese in the laws and all of that. So what we've done with Law Right is to break it down to the barest explainable terms, such that anybody on the street can pick it up, read it and understand that, okay, in clear words, this is what the law is saying.
The app also gives the public access to lawyers and law firms and, where necessary, initiate the process of adjudication where rights have been abused.
Okay, so this is the Law Rights app. It's available for download on Google Play Store and it's free. It has several features: my rights, my duties, general provisions. You could find a lawyer. You could consult the Constitution to see the full provisions, and you can report a violation if your right or someone else's right has been violated, which you would like to report. Now, under my rights, you have several topics that have been addressed there. You have child rights, doing business in Nigeria, the Omonile issue, police, taxation, electricity, crime generally, sex soliciting, immigration, employment, and on like that. And then if you click on any area that is of interest, you see the subtopics, and then there are questions under it. Now, the questions and the answers provided under it, they've been done in such a way that it's easy to understand, it's seamless, it's not the ambiguous English that we find in the normal laws and provisions that we have in our country. It's easy to understand because this app is targeted at every citizen, the layman, the tech people, the lawyers, everybody in general. Now, the duty is the same thing too. For every right, there's a duty on the part of another person. So here also you have the child right, you have police, you have taxation, you have VIO, you have matrimonial acts and divorce, you have insurance, you have several other topics that you can look through. And just like under the rights, when you click on them, you see some subtopics under, and then you see the questions with their appropriate answers given under each of those heads. And same goes for the general provisions. These are provisions of the law that are neither rights nor duties. It's just a general provision. It's just what the law is saying regarding things that you need to know. You could find a lawyer here, depending on your location or on a practice area, you could search for a lawyer, so that if you don't particularly know a lawyer that you could talk to, through this app, you could find a lawyer that will be able to handle your case, and then you contact the lawyer. The Constitution, this is the full Constitution from the preamble up to the last section of the Constitution, which is section 320. Now, all the provisions of the Constitution is here, so that at any point in time, you could just get to pick it up and read what the Constitution is saying. You could also report a violation. You have to enable your location to be able to do this, because it's essential so that they know who. So you select the agency that you want to report to. You could report to any of these agencies. Once you select the agency that you want to report to, you input your phone numbers, your location, and you make your report here. You tell them what exactly you want them to look into. So essentially, that is what the law rights do, is to ensure that every citizen knows what their rights and duties are. They know what is expected of them under the law, so as to ensure that their rights are not trampled upon and that they remain law-abiding in the society.
With a goal to help bridge the gap between the people and the law, Law Rights wants to institutionalize legal technology in the Nigerian judiciary and put in the hands of citizens tips and legal provisions about fundamental human rights. It also provides a platform for reporting and tracking incidences of rights violation and injustice, linking victims with relevant agencies and regulatory bodies.